Skiing. The act of attaching two pieces of wood to your shoes, sliding down snowy hills, falling over constantly, and paying through the absolute nose for it. You see, I have this ethos. If I'm offered the opportunity to do something I wouldn't normally go for, that alone for me is a great reason to do so. My mandem were planning a ski trip and an invitation was thrown my way, and despite the fact I've got no balance, sporting ability, or have ever skied before, I gladly took them up on the offer. Planning the trip meant deciding which country to go to, which resort to go to, where to stay, what kit to hire, but how to get there? That was easy. For a very special trip such as this, we needed a very, very ordinary car. A long journey, a lot of stuff, snowy roads. You need something comfortable, large, ideally four-wheel drive, probably diesel so we can save some cash. It's not the recipe for an interesting car. The VW Passat is famous for being one of the most pedestrian cars ever. A car which is known for blending into the background so well it just looks like a car. Not to mention the totally unremarkable way it drives and feels. Only, this one felt a bit different. It really didn't feel unremarkable, at all. We jumped in the car first thing in the morning, and we set off.
It's so early. Like, it really is so early. It's like 5 a.m. Good morning. It looks like we're going for a drive. Yeah. You join me on a Saturday morning at about 5 o'clock, and I'm just so tired. It's unbelievable. So we're gonna get the car and we're gonna drive 638 miles. Morning. Morning.
Cleanest with. Interesting.
So this dog thing here, I like this. When the doors close, the dog gets longer.
Oh, that's fun. It's like a sausage dog.
Like a sausage dog.
A dog made of sausages.
I would eat that dog.
We're here on the Eurotunnel. We've got the guys behind me who are about to take a long drive all the way down to a place called Flame, where the ski resort is. Got Passat. It's been doing well so far. We have a whole train to ourselves. We have a whole carriage to us. How do you think the journey's going to go, Harry?
Superbly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we shall be arriving shortly.
This is it's a diesel, isn't it? It's
It's a 2005 Volkswagen Passat.
I think it's a 3-litre
Diesel.
Yeah. And I really don't get some of the complaints people have about this particular car. I mean, people say it's a bit too ordinary, stuff like that. The ride is sublime. I mean, it's amazing. I can't believe that an ordinary car is this good. And the attention's in the detail.
Was just steel springs and conventional dampers, but done correctly.
Yeah, exactly. There's no need to overcomplicate things with suspension. This just shows that conventional suspension can actually be more compliant and nicer.
Yeah.
So, I guess we're about 3 hours into the journey.
Yep, about that.
Just
drive about 3 hours.
So we're going to Flane. It's a ski resort, and we're going to do some skiing when we're there. Some of the things this car's got, it's got a xenon headlamps on it. It's
Four
xenon?
So it's got 4 xenon bulbs.
Yeah.
So it's not like by xenon, you know, you've got a little shutter in the light, so most of them you have a single xenon bulb with a little shutter for the high beam. This actually has another separate xenon bulb for the high beam.
That's exactly what I was talking about. It's just over-engineered German greatness, effectively.
I mean, it's very impressive that they put 4 xenon bulbs in a family car.
Nobody else would have thought of that.
No.
My Mondeo doesn't do that. Heated and ventilated seats as well.
Yep, ventilation important, especially after a spicy meal.
And one thing you don't see anymore, which I really like, it's got an actual clock. Look what it does. Look what it did when we changed the time zone. Yeah, it's got a 6-speed ZF box on it, which is pretty good. It's not that responsive or quick, but it's a.
I think it's a 6HP32.
Is it really? You
Yeah.
know the specifics of it.
Yeah.
What's unusual about this car?
Hand built.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Didn't they make their own factory just so they can build these things?
Yep. The factory actually, I think it's like most 2 people work on each car, and the only bit that's fitted by a robot is the spare wheel and the windscreen.
So the engines are built by hand and then installed by hand.
The
as
engines
well?
aren't built by hand.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
But the car is fitted out entirely by hand.
Cool. Okay. Is it that factory that you showed me on that chat that one time?
Yeah. Die gelesen der Manufaktur.
It looks amazingly clean, to be honest with you.
Canadian maple floors everywhere.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And all the tools get their power through induction through the floor. So the tool carts, they just move them around and drop them in it.
You're not serious?
Yes.
How does that work?
It's like inductive, like a electric toothbrush. It picks up charges it without.
Is that anything?
All like wireless charging on your phone.
Yeah. That's so that's electromagnets, right?
Yeah.
And that powers the tools, and isn't that hugely wasteful?
No. And all the parts are delivered by a little robot tram that moves around, that takes the lift and moves around. And
like real talk, you're not saying this to the camera. Is this real?
yeah.
What?
Little sort of basically, in the basement, all the parts arrive by a tram.
Yeah.
And then they, depending on which car it's going onto, they stock up a little sort of rack of parts.
Yeah.
And then a little robot tram goes on, lifts the rack up, and then moves into a lift, goes up to the factory floor, and then goes up to where that particular car is being built. And then they can start assembling it there. The Passat factory. It's basically like that's why when we visited the AMG plant and they were showing us all their stuff, and they're like really proud of it. It's like, it's like basically Volkswagen does the same thing but with an entire car.
Yeah. Why? Just because they wanted to make the best car.
They wanted to show off.
I've got a good question for you though.
Yes.
Why do you know all of these things?
Because I'm interested in Passats.
Have you been to the factory?
Maybe.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been twice, 3 times.
Very good. Dresden.
Yeah.
What else can we say that's interesting?
They've got a test track for the cars in the basement.
In the basement?
Mhm.
How does that work?
It was like a test track with so they take it around, they check for bumps and squeaks and things, rattles and
In the
squeaks.
basement?
Yeah.
How long is it?
It's not huge, but it's like a little loop with.
Were they testing
road
these cars there?
Yeah, so every car is tested on. It gets about 5 miles. Yeah.
So this one's been on that test track and very thorough and rigorous.
I hope. Well, what's interesting is it tracks the sun.
It tracks the sun.
Yeah. It knows where the sun is shining from.
What does that mean? And no, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. So basically, it knows which side of the car. Because sometimes if the sun is coming on that side, only those air vents will open.
You are kidding me.
No.
How do they open?
Well, they do if it thinks it needs them.
But so even on this fully automatic setting,
Yes.
if it thinks it needs them, they'll open up.
Yeah.
They've been shut the whole trip though.
Yeah. But it may, if the sun stays out, they may.
Because it's been
open
perfectly temper controlled, like my 5 Series and things like that. I have to change it when I get going and then change it on the motorway. It just makes slight alterations.
Mm-hmm.
But this, we've not had to touch anything. It's perfect.
Well, apparently it's because the chairman of Volkswagen hated air conditioning. He used to carry a toolkit around with him, so when he went to hotels, he could open windows in America where they're normally locked.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And apparently he wanted the Phaeton to be entirely indirect ventilation, unless it was absolutely necessary.
Indirect. Oh, I see what you mean. So there's nothing like blowing on your face or anything like that.
And apparently that was one of the things in America they complained most about. So they said the air conditioning isn't working because they expect it to be like a meat locker being blown in the face.
Yeah,
That's luxury.
Yeah, absolutely. You get used to certain norms, don't you? And they stay, even though they don't make any sense. People are just used to what they're used to. Yeah.
And Americans are used to crude pieces of pig iron like Cadillacs.
Who was the guy that designed the NSX? Well, Ayrton Senna helped design it. Who actually designed the NSX, the initial one?
I can't remember.
So they had a similar sort of thing.
Shigeru Miyamoto?
Yeah, maybe that was it. Whoever did it used to own. Wait, the McLaren F1 came before the NSX, didn't it? No,
it didn't. Gordon Murray said when he was designing the McLaren F1, he had tried all the various supercars and laid down sets of guidelines. And then he said as soon as he drove an NSX, he realised they had to actually go straight back to what was expected for a road car.
Little known fact, maybe not very interesting. One of the designers of the car drove an NSX or owned an NSX, daily drove it. And after it was inspired, the air conditioning system of the F1 was inspired by the NSX because he said that he had never had to touch a single button in the NSX on the air conditioning for 7 years, a year in the car. So he'd gone in it, he set the settings and he left it alone. So that's why they went back and redeveloped all the air conditioning systems, and as a result you have the same thing. Because that is what you should strive for, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
you shouldn't have to keep fiddling with things. So you've got 472 miles to go. That's not very far. 500 seem like quite a lot. 470 doesn't seem quite so bad.
That's the thing about driving in France, especially in a car like this. You just sort of waft the miles away, which is nice. And
so what do you make so far of your first Passat experience, Arthur?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure I've been in these things before, in like taxis in was it Marbella or I don't know. I've been to a country where they had loads and loads of, and I thought they were totally ordinary. I really did. But I guess this is the more luxury version with the leather and the wood. It makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Honestly, and being on these beautiful French roads, it's just so smooth and so. It's honestly, it's so much better than taking a plane. It's like an alternative. The extra sort of hour and a half
and
or whatever.
You haven't got a load of giggling children to share the plane. Anyway.
Honestly, like for this kind of journey, and when you also don't want to worry too much about the speed, because that's the thing about driving fast and making a lot of progress, is you're always a little bit concerned about speed cameras. But when you just want to, stick to the speed limit.
What's the speed limit, Arthur?
Hang on. When you just want to cruise and you don't want to go fast, this is all you need. Honestly, I couldn't.
It doesn't encourage you to drive quickly, which is what it's meant to do. It's meant to get you there relaxed and calm and without speeding tickets.
He's got a very good temperament, I suppose, for that. So yeah, 470 miles to go. What's that, like 5 hours or something, or 6 hours, or
469 miles to go.
469. Oh well. How do we get the debrief thing back up? So have I driven 250 miles?
Oh yeah, 250. So
There we go.
average 27.7 at an average 50 miles an hour. It's not bad actually.
You mean 81? Average of 81 miles per hour?
Yes, that.
Well done, car.
It's not done its job yet.
Right, what is it? It's 12:34 and we're going to get some coffee. Because this is really, really interesting television. Have you locked the car? Excuse me. Oh, you don't know. What? Have you taken the cardio muscle off?
What?
I'm assuming I remember to put cardio muscle on the playlist.
They think I'm Mr. Olympia.
You probably did. I haven't removed anything. Because that would be editing your friends' personal tastes and preferences. And that would just be offensive.
Good. What do you mean personal taste and preferences?
Yeah, the music you have a passion for.
Stop saying these things!
For the viewers on YouTube who may not know, Arthur has a thing for large black bodybuilders.
For the viewers on YouTube who may not know, I edit this video and Harry doesn't. going for the economy run?
No, I was just thinking about 90, just in case they peak or about.
Fair enough.
I don't think that, considering the load in the car, I don't think that's too bad actually.
Phil's not that far.
Yeah, but you and I am.
Yes. You said he'd do 147.
That's the official top speed, but Volkswagen are usually fairly conservative about those. It's like how Bentleys have always been like, they always say like 195, and yet
It gets 200.
easily since like day one. Because they basically have to give like the worst case scenario for the engine output and the...
Yeah, a bit like they did with their emissions.
You see what I mean though about the massage being better than the Mercedes?
Yeah, I mean, it's not...
It actually, you feel something in your back rather than just...
In the Mercedes really is unusable, it's just pointless.
It's just they can say they've got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you like massage seats there? Yes, that sounds lovely.
Yeah. Have you got like the original brochure for this car?
I've got the original booklet, but not the price list. Spec'd up when it was originally new, it was probably about 55,000.
It's not that bad actually.
10 years ago.
I thought it would have been more.
Adjusted for inflation, that's probably like...
70 grand?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what you'd expect, I guess. What's it worth now?
Just
About 7 grand?
If
6?
that.
Really?
5, maybe.
You think?
Probably. There are a lot of 3-litre diesel replacements around.
It's kind of amazing though. It's like, why would you want something else?
It's a very good car at doing what it's designed to do.
Yep.
321 miles to destination, 305. He's over halfway. Self-driving cars.
It's not a self-driving car. So Harry, what's the ETA?
So I imagine Hans will get quite
I think we're currently going to be there at about 6:15.
6:15. That's a good time.
Is that including beer?
Fine cuisine. What do you mean if it...
No.
We'll have to make up time to buy beer.
Yep, I intend to.
Excellent. Can I have some chewing gum, please? We've been in the car for 9 hours and 39 minutes.
Doesn't feel like it. Wow.
How the hell have we done that?
By driving very, very quickly. Wait.
That doesn't make any sense. I think it's 8 hours 40, isn't it, since we first left London, including the stops.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Which means average 50 miles an hour.
Certainly feels that.
How much left than 3 hours, it reckons?
These mustard fields I was promised.
3 hours 22.
Where's this wild mustard roaming?
Well, they pick it from the trees, don't they? Mustard apples.
Mustard herds.
Yeah, they're not in season though, so that could be why.
Herds of mustard?
Yeah.
Well, you capture a wild mustard.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it happens.
It's like
What do you mean it happens? They grow, they're like apples.
No.
That's why they're called moutarde pomme.
I would,
They're animals.
back me up here, Ali.
Yeah.
So you stick a bunch of mates in a car together for 9, 10 hours, and the chat really does start to get weird after a while.
Can I wish almost I didn't have roaming data?
Why?
Because
Too much gay tube.
no.
Not enough gay tube?
Geishas?
Just the right amount of gay tube.
Is gay tube a thing?
I don't want to find out.
Yeah. Huh.
Gay tube.
No, it just redirects to YouTube.
Gay tube. Does it really?
Review of gay tube on twinkteenagerk.com.
Can you read it out loud, please?
Schoolboys found in the woods participating in circle jerk-off contest. First time caught in a secret video.
Gay tube review.
I didn't really believe the characterization.
I didn't believe he was fixing the boiler.
His motivation.
I mean, for example, he didn't have any tools on him aside from boyfriend TV, gay male tube, Ebony X gay, Brent Everett porn, gay Eliza.
This holiday took a turn that I was not expecting.
My all favourite, all boner,
Wait a minute.
all boner.
All the time.
So they guarantee that every video contains boner.
I mean,
Who has a
Is
thing for
that a thing?
flaccid?
I don't know.
I bet you it's a thing.
Yeah, of course, everything's a thing.
Anybody else have a fetish with a flaccid penis? I don't know why, but for some reason I love a flaccid cock. Obviously not always, but it just turns me on to see, no matter what the size. Anybody else feel the same? I
don't
think they're super cute.
I don't think I have a fetish for them.
Okay, I think we're back on this road for like the next ages. This is basically the last motorway.
200 miles, so 2 hours.
Keep down. There we go.
What?
time there.
It's not awful. It's so much quicker after I've gone to the toilet.
Wow.
Well, I went to Bodine's last night, so...
Oh, right.
Less than 200 miles to go.
I don't need my legs for anything this week, do I?
No, definitely. What did you buy from the shops?
Me?
Yeah, what have you got?
Beer.
Beer.
What have you got offer?
Oh, I got some beer.
Oh, that's good. I think Phil got beer as well. I've got my beer.
Did we?
Was
So
that your
did we all
beer?
buy beer?
Oh no.
Harry, did you not get anything?
I got beer.
Where? I don't see anything.
Oh, is it that beer back there?
This is mine.
I think Alex done
I will
very well.
turn this car around.
We're gonna have to work off all the
Back to
all the
Winnipeg.
beer somehow. That's a very smart idea. Yeah,
Good
welcome,
stuff.
welcome.
At least they acknowledged.
Nodded at you. Thank you for not running over my infant.
Hey, oh, hey, the heavy to the heavy to the heavy to the
Hip hip hoppy, you don't stop the rocket to the bam bam boogie. Sit up, strut the buggy with the rimmer for the boogity beat. Anyway,
So, 45 minutes to Flen.
Nice.
They're at 6:30,
we're getting there.
which is pretty much exactly when we.
So I keep saying-
How many hours in the car? It's going to be 12, but no, 13 by the time we get there. 12 and a half at the moment, but that's in hours. So it's 11 hours 26 in
12
the car.
and a half hours.
Well, it's 11 and a half hours. Time difference.
Yeah, that's true.
So, little over 12 hours door to door.
Alex, do you want me to take some of those?
Well, we had fun doing it.
Because I've got some space down
You know what? It was actually
my legs.
fairly. I thought it was fairly painless in terms of actual journey.
Yeah, but it's all in the car, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it was.
My legs are-
I don't think it was too wearing.
If we could have done it on a bicycle, we'd have had a worse time.
I could take one of the bags if you want.
Very, very perceptive. Or a Trabant.
Monocycle.
Ah, it's
Monocle. If we'd done it on a monocle.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not too tired. I don't feel like we've done a really hard, long journey.
I don't feel like we've done a hard long journey. I don't feel like we've been in the car for nearly 12 hours. But I do feel a bit sleepy.
Today has gone by quite quickly. I've only watched 2
I
films.
do have this scratchy sort of feeling in my throat, and it's not the cold. I feel quite parched.
Don't worry, we'll get you hydrated once we get.
I think it might be dehydration.
Do you want a beer?
Oh, what?
Ooh.
Light.
Phil, can you pretend to set the temperature?
Beep boop.
Thank you, Phil. We see the train after this, and then we go around the.
Yes.
Can I answer it?
No.
Let me answer it.
£10 a minute.
This is really telling of the car's age, though, isn't it? You think the car's modern and all that stuff, and then
No,
you.
it's not.
So what phone network does it use?
This car's nearly 20 years old.
Really?
Well, just if you think that a car was first built, they first released this model in like 2002.
Did they really?
So if you've seen the development work, probably starts like 4
99
years
or
before
whatever,
that,
98?
5 years before that.
I'm not even 20 years old.
Oh, we get a horse.
Wait, I told them that you were 27 on the... What?
27?
Alright, have you got any celery?